This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Hello and welcome to SL Chennai Speaks Out. India is home to 19% of the world's children. Children, of course, are our country's future, but what happens to kids is something that is extremely disturbing. Research released by various organizations gives us facts and figures that are truly mind-boggling. To help make us more aware of what these facts really mean, our panelists are Mrs. Damodaran, she's Vice President of the Indian Council of Child Welfare. Mrs. Usha Rangarajan, she's Vice Principal of Annai Velankani School. And Ms. Sangeeta Madhu, she's a consultant clinical psychologist. And in our audience today, we have parents, teachers, and students of every age. Child abuse itself takes many forms: physical, emotional, and sexual. Over the coming hour, we will discuss all of these terribly disturbing current trends. Let's start, first of all, with physical child abuse, since that, of course, is the most common, or so we think. This occurs when a child is intentionally injured. Physical abuse can be an act of direct physical harm, or even neglecting a child that leads, in fact, to injury. Most adults in this room were probably either caned at home or at school. Audience, were you actually beaten when you were a child by a parent or a teacher? Let's hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Well, that's a pretty resounding yes. Were you beaten as a child?
Yes. I was a very mischievous girl, and I don't know what my mother thought about my mischievousness. You know, it was very rare. I don't think any parent would have treated a child the way she treated me, because when I used to be mischievous, and how she used to abuse me was, she used to grind ginger and hold me and pour the ginger juice in my eyes. Ooh. Then she'll squeeze onion juice. Then orange peels, you know, it used to burn. She said, "You've got beautiful eyes. I'll hurt your eyes." You know, even now, I'm depressed when I think of the way she used to treat me. And that psychologically it has affected me even though I'm 60. I came to this show because my mother is still alive, 84, and she's a mother and her daughter. And the way she treated me then continues even now as a daughter of 60 years old. And my husband, who comes, is highly educated, well-placed, all who are seeing me know who I am, treated my sons very badly.
Right.
And they were psychologically affected, even though they are 37 and 30 now.
Right. And that's an extremely disturbing way for us to be actually starting this show today. I mean, in your experience, have you ever heard of stuff like this?
Not to this extreme, but I believe it's a common practice for parents to think that by disciplining their children, this is what they think they're doing, they'll make them more correct. But unfortunately, we have a result that happens like this, and this is what we call actually physical abuse. When it's what we call a non-accidental injury of any sort is classified as physical abuse, and today this could be taken up to the Child Welfare Committee for action. And the child could be even removed from the parent if we feel the parent is an unfit parent. Today the law gives this to us, and anybody can report such a case. If this was happening to you today, and if your neighbor saw this happening, the neighbor could report to 1098, which is the child line, or to the police, or directly to Child Welfare Committee, and the action can be taken. Today we have a law in place for stopping such occurrences. Not that it stops with that.
Okay. Sir, would you tell us, Did you think it was okay to be, say, caned by a teacher in school or the principal, or was that all right or not?
No, it is not okay. No human being will accept that. But I am a teacher now. And, and what I
So have you
request
caned?
you and panel and the government is provide the atmosphere for the teachers to correct the children without corporal punishment.
Right.
Because the atmosphere is not good enough for the teacher to carry.
Right.
Because we have a lot of children in the class, the ratio is very abnormal. We have sometimes
Right.
we have 100 odd children in a class, and we do not have any other option but go for corporal punishment sometimes.
Right.
Not every child is punished.
Okay.
There are some children who do not obey.
Right.
Thank
So the young man here, I think you'd like to say something.
I would like to know that why teachers justify corporal punishments as a method of disciplining the students.
Please, Usha,
Can
tell
I
us.
answer you?
Yes.
Because we've got no private vengeance against you all. Actually, our intention is just to rectify you. And no private, I mean, we don't intend anything. I'm of the opinion that more things are wrought by love. And if love and affection is shown to you, I have a feeling that you would definitely ready.
So are you trying to justify by telling corporal punishments as a
No,
way
no,
of
no,
showing,
not so.
exhibiting
We
love
no
and
cor-
affection?
No, not corporal punishment at all. We don't intend it at all. It's with no intention. We just want to rectify you all, and we don't hit you hard also. We'll just take the ruler like that, but we see that it doesn't hit you.
Right.
You're
So
not-
would you like to take the gentleman at the back, please? We'll come back to you, young.
I'm also a student. Of the persons here, I'm the person who got maximum number of canes or who was being standing out the classes for more number of times. But I feel it's okay, and even when I was a child, I felt it was okay.
And then, is it okay? Tell us.
It's not okay to hit. Firstly, there is a law today. The Tamil Nadu Education Department has passed a law, a rule that you cannot hit in schools. It's very clear, isn't it, ma'am?
We don't hit them at all in schools. Like we also instruct our teachers not to use a cane.
Why then do we find instances of a child having been caned? Sangeeta, tell us from your experience.
I completely agree with this gentleman in saying that as teachers, they're completely stressed out. They have 100 children. They're screaming all the time. They don't know, they don't have avenues as to discipline this child. And I also agree with the student because students come to us saying that, there's an emotional scar that is created throughout their lives. I mean, he's right and he's right as well. So I think there needs to be a solution in terms of providing mental health services in schools itself, appointing school counselors there where they can help children in terms of identifying what these problems are.
They can give other punishments like running around the ground or something like that.
Don't you think it is a physical abuse to them, ma'am?
Then don't you think that we shouldn't punish you at all?
At any point in time, reward works best. I think we need to equip the teachers in terms of mental health issues. We're really not talking about this punishment or, crime or anything like that. We're talking about a child's self-esteem here.
How can a principal or a teacher actually control
The students.
so many children in one class?
Whoever the person is, whom you think is the troubleshooter of the class, you give him some responsibility. You tell him, you will be the class rep of this thing, and then you give him all the responsibilities. I think that will work out very well.
Okay.
Then you can, yeah.
Right. How would somebody actually deal with a student who's naughty then in a class?
It's not about physical hurt. Most of the time, it is emotional hurt that goes along with that, being embarrassed in front of your classroom.
Andal, I'd like to hand it over to you at this point. Is it really practically possible for teachers like Usha here to be all honey and light with children?
It's not possible given the situation in classrooms. They are stressed, but to say that teachers have to, be calm, they are also human. And the stress they suffer, this is the reason we say you should not hit, because there's a very thin line between losing your cool and hitting hard. There used to be a rule in Tamil Nadu that you could lift the ruler 48 degrees and hit. This was the old rule.
How about that? I mean, 40, how are you going to, I mean, is it possible to measure that?
That's
I mean, what a
exactly it.
ridiculous thing.
I mean, in anger, where are they going to lose?
Right.
Get
I'd like
away?
to have a response from that side. Please, sir, can you tell us?
I'm Dominic from CRY.
Yes.
Almost, if you look at the record and the statistics, 63% of children who are going to the school get physically abused. is a very shocking data. And if you look at the culturally, especially in Indian culture, we take it for granted that we can physically abuse the children. Even I have seen in my childhood, neighbors beat his or her child. The neighbors, the other people, they will not even raise any question. They will not object to anything. They keep silence. So we are also in a culture of silence. This is very complex issues, which cannot be looked at only at children. It has to be looked at, connected with so many other realities.
Right.
So that's my concern.
I'd like to hear from another student here on this issue of at school, a teacher beating a child. Is it all right? Sir, would you like to speak?
Basically, when we are talking about the issues at school, we are all considering only one thing, that about hitting the student. There are many other things where we are not considering, like verbal. Like, many times the student is not able to perform. And when it goes like once, twice, and third time, everyone starts saying that you're good for nothing. Yeah. That's not the ultimate solution. That is also affecting him internally.
Right.
So that's a problem actually had to be, like the teachers have to think about it, and they should actually motivate the student to come up.
Right. That's, of course, exactly what Usha was talking about rewarding children. In your career, Usha, how many times have you rewarded a child for doing well? Or how many times have you beaten a child for not doing well?
No, actually, I don't hit the children at all, because I know the value of any child and how sentimentally or mentally how he'll be, affected because of all hitting the child and punishing him and such things like that. But then I think this rewarding, I've tell the student, if you by heart these lines and then you come out with your answer, I'll give you a pen or I'll give you something like that, then he's happy with this, okay? And then I think this would do better.
Right.
And I'm not of the habit of hitting the child at all.
Right.
I hope.
Okay, fine. That's the answer. Question was answered. Well, after listening to all that has been said, we can only conclude here that the parent or the caretaker may not actually have intended to hurt the child. It may, however, be the result of over-discipline or physical punishment that is inappropriate to the child's age. We'll take a very short break now, and when we come back, we'll look at a more subtle form of abuse.